Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of FSI's PGA Preview. Coming off a major. What a fun major that was. Our guy, Collin Morikawa, coming through with some clutch shots down the stretch to win his very first major. 23-year-old with some stone-cold shots like that shot on 16. John, I mean, you had to be jumping out of your shorts. You love Collin Morikawa.
It was awesome. I couldn't have been cheering louder here. That guy is insane. The irons are great. He's now – what's surprising was the putter. Putter got hot, he wins. That's going to be his MO for many, many years, I feel like. And he's not Tiger out there cranking the longest tee ball where he's going to have a bad back. This kid's going to be in it for the longevity. So really exciting to see not just another win, but a major win and a lot of money. The post-game dropping the trophy, the lid off the trophy was exciting. It was a lot of fun. Great weekend.
Yeah, he had that chip in as well. Collin was just pouring shots in, and how you separate yourself with that shot on 16 with six people, major champions.
Yeah.
You know, knowing coming into the round that you have guys like DJ, Brooks, Koepka, just in the way of you trying to win your first major, and you come out and you pull off a 6-under championship round like that in style. Really big for Collin Morikawa. We're big fans here at FSI and couldn't be happier. Overall, from a DFS and fantasy standpoint, didn't have enough of them and didn't have some of the better value on the slate. You know, Reevey kind of tanked and blew up the weekend. Spieth was a model popper that just – I mean, he had a decent Sunday, but just not enough for me in cash to get there. And, you know, we had the Fitz fiasco from the community.
Yeah, way too much Fitz.
And I pivoted with Hatton, and he missed the cut too. So so you'll have it, you know, you pick up where you left off, and you keep with your product. Keep going. So that's what we'll do today, and that's what we're going to do this week for our research. As always, you can find John's No Mulligans article. Should be up on FSIDFS.com when you wake up tomorrow morning. John, all right, with that being said, let's get into what we're dealing with this week. We got a Donald Ross design at Sedgefield Country Club. Go ahead and kick us off.
Perfect. So this is the Wyndham Championship, as you said, Sedgefield Country Club, Greensboro, North Carolina. It's a par 70. 7,100 yards, so definitely toning down versus last week. Looking at the course too, quite a few little creeks and areas that will limit the drivers. So these guys that were just cranking it all over like Bryson last week, although he's not in the field, those guys just can't do what they did last week. This is much more of an accuracy course. You'll see the 3-wood out a lot more. Donald Ross design tells us that we've got small greens, undulating greens, fast greens, difficult greens. That's going to be very key. Guys who can putt well on Bermuda. We're also looking here. It's a birdie fest. The last few years, winner's been better than 20 under par. Cut somewhere around like 2 under par. Took a look at the weather. I don't really have too many concerns. We could see some rain here or there. It should be warm, humid. I'm not totally concerned about that, so we're not going to dive into it much. We'll take another look on Wednesday night, see if maybe a little wave advantage, maybe in some showdown or something, but not like we saw last week, at least, not for the beginning. Looking at the key stats this week, shots gained approach, as always, ball striking. Those will be key here. Off the tee, not as important this week, but certainly drive accuracy we're looking at. Par 4 scoring will be very key. And then really the 400 to 450, there's a whole bunch of those this week. So that's kind of an additional focus. Guys who score well on par 5s tend to do really well on this course also. There's only 2 of them, but they're definitely easy. If you're shooting 1 under par on the 2 par 5s each day, you're losing strokes to the field. So you definitely need to be 2 under, 3 under if you can. So that'll be important. Again, putting on Bermuda. And then that's about it on the stats. We might look a little bit on scrambling as well. But that's pretty much our big focuses.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. First in my model was strokes gained approach and ball striking. So I think we're right on the same page with what we're doing on key stats. One thing I'll add is Detroit, where we were just at a couple weeks ago, the Rocket Mortgage Classic, is another Donald Ross design. That is something I looked at for recent results coming from the restart. So, yeah, with that being said, I think we're right on line with what we're going to do. Let's get going into some picks. First up, we have the 10K plus range. Gosh, we got a small amount from 9K and higher. So go ahead and give us your favorite 10K plays, and we could pretty much nail who we like and who we
Sure.
think is going to be high owned.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these guys will be they're reasonable options. I don't think I wouldn't expect to see any of them miss the cut, but at these prices here, we really need to try and see who we think will be top 15 or so. My number one option, most likely he'll be the highest owned golfer that's in this range at least. That's going to be Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson is an absolute course horse here at Sedgefield. He is in his history here, Webb Simpson has got 5 top 10s. He has 8 out of 8 cuts made. He was runner-up in 2018, runner-up in 2019, third in 2017. So we're not going to find anybody better on really any other course, even for that matter, when it comes to course history here. Just looking at the stats too, since the stoppage, he's 7th on par 4s, 11th in good drives gained, 14th tee to green, 21st ball striking. So he is accurate. He doesn't have to be long. He's going to make a lot of good approach shots as well. I expect to see Webb to be super popular as well as in a lot of my lineups.
Yeah, Webb is definitely the elephant in the room this week. The local guy from North Carolina, the Wyndham Classic, the Wyndham Championship guru. I think you nailed it. Webb going to be in lineups. You can't avoid it. You can't fade him. The upside is just too much for that, even at that price. Favorite guy for me here, and I was doing a little bit of scoping out. He's played a lot of tournaments since the restart. Brooks Koepka has been lighting it up from the approach. I know he had a really bad Sunday. I think he kind of stuck his foot in his mouth, talking a lot of smack. Heading into Sunday, saying, well, there's DJ and no one else. Well, then, the 23-year-old spanked you. So Brooks Koepka, I think he's going to try to bounce back pretty well. He's 102nd in the Wyndham FedEx Cup standings, so he does need a good finish to try to get into that top 70 to make sure he gets it to the BMW Championship. His golf is not going to stop. I don't believe in this knee injury that has come up. I think that's been an excuse for Koepka's poor play. The approach hasn't been as great, but the last 2 weeks he's gained approach 8 strokes on the approach at the WGC, and then 6 last week. Wyndham, he's came in 6th in 2015, and he came in 38th in 2014. He's 2nd in birdies or better, 2nd in par 4s from 400 to 450, and 12th in ball striking. Just a guy I'm targeting in my lineups for GPPs. I think he will be now he's not going to go low owned, so I think him and Webb kind of suck the ownership from this price range.
Sure.
I don't think people are willing to pay that much for Casey and Reed and Fleetwood when they were just having them for 3,000 less throughout the last couple of weeks. So I think Brooks and Webb separate themselves on talent and in ownership this week at the top range. Is there anyone else here in this 10K range you feel viable for the price?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to end up playing a decent amount of Paul Casey as well. You talked about the price, obviously, comparing it to last week. It's really tough to pay now 10-3 for the same golfer. He did go out and have a fantastic week with the T2. But looking just at the other golfers that are in this field, we're not talking about the same caliber. So I think Paul Casey's viable here. I don't know if I would get to him in cash. He's a little, in the last 2 months or so, a little bit too volatile for me to play in cash. But he does have a good history here. He was 13th last year. He was 3rd in his attempt before that. That was 2015. 4 out of 5 cuts made since 2012 here. T2 last week, super tough field. Looking just at the stats here since the stoppage, he's 4th in ball striking, 7th on approach, 8th tee to green. If we're looking just a little farther back, his last 50 rounds, he's 2nd on approach and 1st in ball striking. So that excites me just a little bit more. He is an accurate driver as well. His issue is putting. His putting's been really bad. So if he can clean that up just a little bit, I expect good things out of Paul Casey again this week. Again, probably not in cash for me.
Yeah, I would agree. His irons came alive last week, and the Wyndham Championship definitely a course that emphasizes the second shot and being able to ball strike. And he was really good off the tee as well. Like you said, putting always the issue with Paul Casey. I think that's no secret throughout the industry. A couple notes on Reed and Fleetwood. Reed was really good in the model. I think that's just relative to the field. First in birdies are better though. Seventh in par fours, fourth in putting, ninth in tee to green, and he gained 6.5 around the green at the PGA Championship. So really good scrambler, really good putter. I think that could really help Patrick Reed on some of these gettable par fives, because like we were discussing before the video, you're going to have to make birdies or better on these par fives to survive. You cannot par a par five this week and expect to do damage and get to the top of the leaderboard without that result. Yeah, so Reed going to do really well, saving himself a bogey, and going to do well scoring on these par fives this week. Fleetwood's kind of the unknown, and I think he goes lowest owned in this range. His fourth week in a row playing this week. A 10-5 price tag after 7,700 is pretty high. But he was first in par fours, 7th tee to green, and 22nd in ball striking. He did lose 3.5 strokes approach, but he came out firing at pins. I think it was on the Friday round, and the putter's been relatively good. So I think Fleetwood would make a decent GPP play. He had a 64 round two. That's the round I was alluding to. Yeah, so I think he makes a good GPP play. I certainly don't think I would have a ton of bullets in Tommy this week. Maybe just a couple shares in case he his debut win is here at the Wyndham Championship. I think that'd be really special for Tommy Fleetwood to have, but certainly not something I'm going to emphasize as much.
He could use the FedEx points too to try and boost up, since he didn't play a bunch of the first events. He's got some catching up to do.
Exactly, that's another thing. He is outside the top 70 bubble, as I looked at earlier. So a top 10 can certainly do some damage in that regard for him. So let's get into the 9K. Much like every week, we are getting a low number of 9K golfers. This week is no different. And tell us who your favorite is.
Well, my favorite was Abraham Answer, but
Same.
earlier today, he blew up the model, was just all over the place at the top in a bunch of columns, and we really liked that. But we won't be talking any more about Abraham Answer here tonight. For me, my next guy that I love the most here, that's Harris English. He's playing really good golf. I think we touted him last week. He was in my article as well. He'll be in the article going out tonight. Also, he's just playing really good golf. 19th last week. He's got 4 straight top 20s, and he excels on Bermuda greens, so we really like that. He also has good course history here, 6 out of 6 cuts made. Looking since the stoppage at his stats, he is 5th on the par fours. That excites me a lot. He is number 1 in putting. I don't always go to the putters, but this week I'm going to be looking at some good putters, and he is at the top. So 24th in approach, 19th tee to green. So really a guy who's going to be getting it there with a lot of birdie chances, and then being the number 1 putter. I really like Harris English's chance this week to finish top 5 or so. He also, last 50 rounds, so going a little farther back, he is 5th on good drives gained and 10th on par fours in that 400 to 450 yard range. So there's a whole lot to like about Harris English. Is he one of your top plays this week as well?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was going through some of the course history. He's 39th last year, 11th in 2018. He doesn't look like he's missed a cut in his 4 or 5 appearances at the Wyndham Championship, and his recent form has been incredible as well. I believe he has 4 straight top 20s. So, I mean, he's pounding out results as well as having a really hot putter. Harris English is a good on Donald Ross designs. So I think that's a strong cash play. Love it for Harris English. Yeah.
Agreed.
Other guys in the 9K range, you could look to Billy Horschel, pretty good Bermuda putter. There's some Florida correlation there with the greens in Florida. My guy here is Harris, and then I'm like staring. Spieth is just staring at me like, please talk about me, Tim. Come on, I'm Jordan Spieth. Aren't I one of your guys? No, I'm done with Jordan Spieth. I mean, he just everything off the tee is just so wild. Like I don't think he gets it. Like everybody in the golf world is pounding the emphasis of making sure they're either 400 yards away from the tee or dead center. And Spieth is just like, oh, but I could putt. You know what? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of your 50.
There's only so much magic around the greens and putting.
Seriously.
That's what he relies on. And when there's enough magic, he's going to have good weeks. He might get some wins here or there, but till he figures out the off the tee, he's really, really tough to roster in DFS.
And at 9K, I don't care what field it is anymore.
That's a problem too. I would much rather play Brendan Todd for a $100 discount all day long. So yeah,
we can roll right into that because I'm not.
I'm going to talk about Horschel really quick though. I do like him quite a bit here. Not as much as Harris English, but I think the price is pretty good on Horschel. He is 6 out of 7 cuts made on this course. He's got 2 top 10s, and he was 6th place last year. He loves these Donald Ross designs. He is 9th in birdie or better over the last 50 rounds, 16th in putting, 20th fairways gained. So a lot to like about him. Looking at him, he's also 50th in the FedEx points. So if he can get kind of closer to that top 30, kind of trying to secure his spot, he needs a couple decent weeks. Nothing. He doesn't need to win, but he needs a couple decent weeks to really pull himself into the Tour Championship and be able to play all the way through the playoffs. So I like Billy Horschel this week much better than I will next week or the week after in the playoffs. So this is his chance, I think, to put up enough points.
Yeah, definitely. Billy Horschel only really needs a top 25 with a lot of the players like the top 50 that aren't here. A top 25 for Billy Horschel gets him from the 50s to like the 40 or like early 40s, and then he can use the playoffs to kind of propel him into that top 30. Right. So into this 8K range, we were already talking about him, but Brendan Todd going to be a very popular option, I believe. Going to be a cash option in some lineups. 30th in the model, 2nd in scrambling. He's just not a model popper, so to speak, because I was like expecting Brendan Todd to be like, top 5 in every model with the recent form that we've seen. But no, he's not, and I think that's because of some of the bad rounds coming out. Surprising to only see a 57th at the Rocket Mortgage. That's another Donald Ross design. But recent weeks, 17th at the PGA Championship, 15th at the WGC, 22nd at Memorial. The putters and Fuego. He does have 3 miscuts here, but those miscuts were a couple years back. It's not something I think I should look into too heavily. But the Todd father, not to be confused with FSI's own Rod father, but Todd father should be a big play this week in many lineups for the community, and I will not be one of the ones on the outside looking in for Brendan Todd. What about you on Brendan Todd?
I'm one that doesn't typically roster him, but I think I'm going to find my way onto a good amount of shares of Todd this week. I think the price is fine for him. What he really is best at is the drive accuracy, and we talked about that earlier, that you don't need to be long like you were last week. He was playing quite well for a course that requires some distance last week, and then he kind of blew up there on Saturday, but I'm a full believer in him finding lots of fairways this week, finding his way onto the green quite a bit, and then riding a hot putter all the way. Really, top 10 is, I think, up certainly in the books here for him if he gets the putter going well. So I wouldn't be too worried about rostering Brendan Todd this week.
Not at all, and he has like some win equity as well. He's got 2 wins on tour. So
that's nice.
Definitely some upside at 8-9. Well worth the price. What other 8K options do you like in this range? Not much to think on. Is like you got some some overpriced golfers, but who do you think is
Sure.
going to stand out for you here?
A couple guys that stand out kind of near the bottom. I do like some Siwoo Kim. I'm going to play him in a couple GPP lineups. He's got the good course history here. It's terrifying rostering him. We're not going to go too much into him for that reason, though. I'm much more interested in playing all the way at the bottom here, Corey Connors. He's a guy we do like to pick on quite a bit. It's all about the ball striking for him. He did miss the cut last week. I'm not terribly concerned. That course wasn't designed for Corey Connors. That's okay, though. Looking at his last 50 rounds, he is 5th on approach, 7th tee to green, 7th on par 4s in that 400, 450 range. Like we talked about, number 2, ball striking. He was 22nd here in 2019, 45th the year before that. He's got 5 out of 7 cuts since the stoppage, so he's pretty consistent. And we all know that he is a bad putter. That's no secret. But his Bermuda is his best surface. He only loses 0.29 strokes per round on Bermuda. He gets much worse when you move over to bent. So I'm okay with that. He also is best on these easy courses that are without wind. No concerns there. That's where he's going to excel. That's what we've got this week. Looking FedEx, he's 55th, so certainly some room to move up here. He does not want to have a bad week and fall closer down to that 70 mark. So I expect a good week here out of Corey Connors. I'm pretty confident in his ability to finish well here. So I do really like him. And then I also like Ryan Moore, who is Wait.
Moops. They call him Moops.
Moops.
Yeah.
I do like Ryan Moore. He's got, back-to-back T12s here. That's really good. He is a very accurate driver, 4th in fairways gained over the last 50. He gains a whole lot of strokes on the par 4s. And his last 2 events, the 40th and T12, and then the T12 again at Barracuda. So he's great at this course, 5 out of 5 cuts. He has 2 top 10s, 6th place in 2018. And we're looking at him. He is 91st in the FedEx Cup points. So certainly some room for improvement here. This is his best chance to get inside that top 70 mark, I believe. So I really like his chances this week as well.
Yeah, you talked me into Ryan Moore. I can't believe it. Oh man, it's going to be that kind of week. But no, I'm totally on board with Corey Connors. As always, I'm a big Connors believer. So, one guy I like here in this 8K range, I like for GPPs that I did a deep dive on, and that is Kevin Kisner, 8,300. He finished 19th last week, gaining 4.9 strokes on the approach and 5.1 strokes putting. Lit it up 3 rounds under 70 on a very tough course. He came in 25th at the WGC, and he also putted. He also gained 8.5 strokes putting. So he has got a hot putter rolling right now. When Kisner is a really a good form golfer, when his form is good, that's how you know you can really pick go to Kisner. Another thing I really liked was he was 3rd at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which is what we are called, which was a Donald Ross design. So I checked out the Bermuda splits. They checked out, 36th 11th in the last 36 on Bermuda. So I really liked that. 12th total on 12th in total strokes gained on Donald Ross design. So complete course fit play here. Kevin Kisner hasn't won since that match play event. Kind of thinking about putting a bet down, but every time I think about betting Kisner and then I place that bet, he misses the cut. So I'm not going to bet it because I don't want him to miss the cut. So please don't. Yeah, I'm not. So beg me not to place a bet on Kisner every time I do. He misses the cut. So
personally, I'd rather bet Snedeker. He's won on this course before. So I mean, it's not pretty, but he has won here.
Don't look at the model when you want to roster Snedeker. Just
look at course history and then stop right there. Don't look any farther.
Throw darts at Sned. Don't look at anything else. Just blindly play. Moving into 7K. Let's keep this rolling along. Give me 2 of your favorite plays here in the 7K range.
2 of my favorites. Well, my favorite play, and he is closer to the bottom here, that's Henrik Norlander. We
Oh
have
boy.
played quite a bit of Henrik Norlander over the past couple months. Haven't got to play him for a few weeks here. He took a few weeks off, and by that I mean he did not qualify for the last couple events. That being said, he was 16th on this course back in 2013. He did miss the cut in 2016, but at least he's familiar here and does have a little bit of success. We're looking at 5 straight made cuts for Henrik. He was 6th there back at the Memorial. I do like that. That was a very, very tough field. Since the stoppage here, he is 3rd on approach in this field. That is extremely exciting for a guy down in this range. 3rd tee to green, 3rd on fairways gained, 6th greens in regulation. And his best putting surface is Bermuda as well. He is also number 2 par 5 scoring over the last 50 rounds. So we think he can get it done on the par 5s. We know he can get it done on approach if he can get going with the hot Bermuda greens. We'll see. That's always kind of the question mark here, but I really, really like the value here on Norlander. So be playing quite a bit of him. Just checking in on his FedEx points, 64th right now. So he's definitely, all these guys really we're talking about have room to improve. They could fall a little bit, but I expect Henrik to jump in the standings a pretty good amount. The next guy that I like going back up to the top, and that is Doc Redman. I played quite a bit of Doc Redman last week, and it turned out pretty well. He was very low owned, finished up at T29. That was exciting for me. Helped a couple of my lines make 6 out of 6. He was cheap and underowned. He gains the most strokes on these easy courses without weather concerns. He does have a pretty poor course history here, so that's not good. But that was really terrible, terrible putting. That is his MO. If he can get the putter warmed up just a little bit, he's got that top 25 upside. So we like that. Last 50 rounds, 7th on approach, 4th on par 4s in that 400 to 450 range, 9th in good drives gained. He is 6th in ball striking over that range too. So a whole lot to like about Doc Redman. I think the price is just about right on him as well. What about you? What are your favorite plays in 7K?
I think growing from the value plays that you're mentioning, I think I'm going to be really stern on who I play down here. You know, like we were talking about Connors and Moore. I think in Kisner. I think I'm going to stick to those guys in the AK range. And I think I'm going to stick to the guys that you mentioned, those two, and then the guys that I'm about to mention, and then I'm going to mix it up top. I think that's how I think I just formed that strategy going into this week based on our video, which is nice. Good surprise. So gonna be really heavy on our value plays. Gonna mix it up at the top. But my 7K guys, Russell Henley at 7.7. He came in 17th at the model. He was 31st in 2019 here. 1st in approach, 5th in ball striking, 13th putting, and he was 1st tee to green as well. 8th proximity. I think he came in 37th last week. He gained 7.1 approach last week. I mean, he's just on fire with the irons. And Russell Henley's preferred surface for putting is Bermuda. So I think Henley makes for a very strong cash play this week. He's got the history to back it up last year with that 31st place finish. Moving on to my next pick here, I'm going to go with Harold Varner III, local guy, 600, 6th in the model. He was 5th on the approach, 4th on ball striking. I mean, he just lit it up across the board. 7th on proximity, 29th last week at the PGA. He was 7.5 gained strokes tee to green. He gained on the approach, he gained on the around the green, and he was 10th here in 2017. And since then, he's made 2 straight cuts. He is playing some of the best golf of his career this year. I know the top 10s and the wins aren't showing it, but Harold Varner is not somebody that's won and made a lot of top 10s in his career, but the rounds he has had has been really good. It could be a breakout moment for Harold Varner. He's been in the spotlight, with some of the Black Lives Matters movements. He's gotten some Golf Digest video articles and, videos and sit downs and interviews and things like that. So, he's kind of been in the spotlight. Sometimes that propels you into being a better golfer, better performer. I really like Harold Varner to maybe have a breakout event. Going to be somebody I target a lot. And then my last pick is going to be my GPP dart throw. I'm going to go with Sam Burns. Big putter on Bermuda. Yeah, 7,200, fourth in the model on Bermuda, 31st total in current form, 10th in birdies or better, 20th in the model. Like I said, 15th ball striking, 32nd at 3M and the 17th at Workday. He's got, quite a few good results. I know he missed the cut at the Barracuda, and that's kind of unfortunate. Typically, the Barracuda is an easy event. But let's see what Sam Burns has got for my dart throw this week. Anything else to add in the 7K range?
I guess one guy that kind of popped up for me as well, that's Rory Sabatini. Most of that is due to just course history, not necessarily on the form. But he has 3 top 10s on this course. He has 1 missed cut, so that kind of tells me he at least really does like this course. I wouldn't invest your whole bankroll in Sabatini this week, but I think he is certainly worth a shot in some tournaments.
Nice. Yeah, good pick on Sabatini. He does really well in these easy events. But let's roll that right down into our 6K range. It's not so bad this week. There's a few names I like. Yeah, a few names I like. A few names we'll be able to fit some studs with. Just give me a plethora of names, and we'll I'll give you a few, and we'll call it.
Sure.
We'll call it. Yeah. What do you got?
The first guy that popped up for me, Kyle Stanley. I don't typically play much Kyle Stanley, but he's been playing some good golf here lately, T12, T32. He's good on the par 4s. He is an accurate driver. He's actually 14th on approach in this field, so I do like that. Ryan Armour, sorry. I like to call him Armour. I'm not sure why, but Ryan
OSU
Armour.
grad.
Ryan Armour here, he actually has a really good course history. He likes the Donald Ross designs. The form is garbage, so that's certainly something to take into consideration. But, the price is probably just about right on here at 6,800. What about you? That's pretty much it for me up top. Maybe a couple more guys down near the bottom. What are you looking at here in this area?
Funny thing about Ryan Armour is
you almost said it.
It's funny because at work Armour is an OSU grad, and there's an OSU grad at my work, and he loves golf. So we were always like, "Where's Armour at? Where's Armour at?" Well, the first time I said, "Oh, hey, there's an OSU grad atop the leaderboard," I called him Ryan Armour. He's just laughing at me like, "What did you call him?" I'm like, Armour. He's like, it's armor. I'm like, well, what's the U for? So it's just a funny thing at work. But Armour was T4 at Rocket Mortgage Classic. That's that Donald sign. And then he missed 3 straight cuts. But you know what? We're down here in the 6K range. I like that flyer very much. So another value. I mean, I'm starting to like the value more than the studs. And
there's quite a bit of value. Bryce Garnett's another guy that loves these Donald Ross designs. He's got some good course history here as well. What else are you looking at in the 6K range?
So I got a couple staples that I usually play. Jason Dufner obviously has been playing really well. He is on this. He is just on the outside of the 120, so he needs a good result to get into the playoffs. This being the last weekend before the playoffs, I feel like Dufner is going to have to go for it. Missing the cut at the PGA Championship hampered his results, but he was really doing well at the Memorial and into the 3M Open with a couple of made cuts. So I'll take a flyer on Dufner every time. A guy that really does well on the approach, 15th in the approach in the models. Tyler Duncan is a usual staple of mine. It's been no secret. I play him almost week in and week out when he's in the field. Guy really keeps the ball straight. He's pounded out some good results here since the restart. He did miss the cut last week, but he's got some good results with other events. I got Cameron Percy, 22nd in the model. Sebastian Munoz, I feel like, is going to be pretty popular. He's been a model popper, but I don't think his form has been the same since the restart. One guy I really want to talk about is Mark Hubbard. Really shows up in these events with birdies. 38th in the model, 26th in proximity, and 12th at the Rocket Mortgage. Mark Hubbard is a good play for these birdie fests. He does quite well. on par fours too. And just want to make a formal announcement to the world. Kiradech Aphibanra is back in the field. One of my favorite golfers to follow. This has nothing to do with DFS. This is strictly from a fun golfer to watch. I hope he's on the broadcast at some point. You'll probably find him with a cigar in his mouth, money hanging out of his wallet, and
with the vaporizer just blowing smoke, smoke clouds. He's exciting. He's entertaining.
He is just
and
pure
he's the type of guy that can go super low and super high. Something like a first round leader type bet is the only bet you probably want to make. But I do like some Barnrat.
Last I knew about Kiradech, because I follow him on Twitter and Instagram, is he was on a yacht smoking cigars with women all around him. I'm like, this is just perfect. This is Kiradech.
He's living life.
But this is the first event Kiradech is back. Obviously, he's not playing for any playoffs or anything, so he'll be shooting for it. Sure. He's going to be going all or nothing, win or nothing.
500 points to the winner.
Yeah, and he's just going to be going for it. I love it. But I got one 6K play, one minimum play, and he was third in my proximity stat. So I thought Max Gellerman, right there, 7 of 14 cuts made, was worthy of a shout. I can't even. He's made some cuts recently, but he's had some bad weekends. Everything before that is just don't look.
Yeah.
So 6K play. If you want to get Webb and Brooks and you want to fit somebody like that, maybe Gellerman can get you through the cut and get you into the 30s. That's a stretch still, but maybe worth a shot here in one of these showdown slates, a name to watch as we go this week. But that is probably going to wrap it up for us here in the 6K range and wrap it up for us here on the video this week for the Wyndham Championship. As always, John, we should get into our one and done zone.
Yeah.
We'll just close this out. I had Patrick Cantlay. You had Xander Schauffele. I'm pretty sure with Cantlay's 3 over on Sunday. You took the one and done again with Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, Xander was a common pick, but turned out pretty good.
I believe. Yeah, 33rd, I think he finished in, or 20th, somewhere there. But I know Cantlay went backwards on Sunday, so.
Yeah.
But let me get your pick this week, and I'll give you mine.
Well,
you get rights to the cover.
I kind of want to pick Webb Simpson, but I
don't think you've used Webb.
No, I might as well take Webb Simpson. That's the better. I was gonna go Paul Casey, but I'll take Webb.
Oh, you better not play Paul Casey over Webb Simpson this week.
Yeah, I still have Webb in the pocket here, so let's go Webb Simpson.
Yeah, if you're not picking Webb at the Wyndham Championship, I can't help you. I'm gonna go with Brendan Todd.
All right, Todd Father.
Todd Father W. Webb Simpson T2. Calling it right here.
It'd be 3 in a row for Webb. He's streaking.
Yeah. Okay, well, that'll do it for us at FSIDFS.com. I am TKNation47. That is John Cool 19. You can follow us on Twitter. Please like and subscribe to the video. As always, we appreciate it. We have many more good tournaments to come. 2 more majors and a playoff series to go. But, yeah. John, thank
and
you.
Some swing season. Swing season's the best for DFS.
Oh, I hope
lots of money to be made up.
Please, everybody jump off PGA and get on to football so I can dominate swing season again. Yeah, exactly. So that'll wrap it up. John, anything else to add?
Nope. Let's have a good week here and make some green screens.
Yes, sir. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Well, have a good day. We'll have a good night. Take it easy.